Hey everybody, welcome back. COVID has made me bored this year, and I am going to play today Hellboy, the board game. I picked this up a couple months ago. I don't know Hellboy comics too much. I've only seen the movie, so that's really only my point of reference. I came across this game because I was in the market for looking for some kind of interesting dungeon crawler. And when I saw that there was a Hellboy themed dungeon crawler, I thought, hey, why not? I do have Dungeons and Dragons Wrath of Ashadalon, and it's very standard Dungeons and Dragons, monsters, and sort of medieval heroes. Hellboy was something I could just get on board with. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do Hellboy, the board game, and we are going to go through one of the case files. This is the retail box, and I have to tell you, I enjoy the game. I like the dungeon crawler experience. It's not quite the same as Wrath of Ashadalon, as an example where you are exploring and unfolding tiles as you go along. But the nice thing about this is that you do have huge variability and replayability based on you don't know what's going to happen as you go into each room or each area that you're in. So every game or every case file that you play will have a setup that shows the board, so you have an idea what it look like. But as you explore every room, you don't know what's going to be in there. You don't know what kind of twists or turns may happen. But at the end of the game, or near the end of the game, there will always be what is the confrontation, and that is where you will meet either a big boss or some kind of apex into the story, and at that point you win or lose at that point. So we're going to go ahead and play this case file. So there's the nice cover shot of Hellboy the board game. I love the artwork. It's really cool, and again, I like this sort of dungeon crawler Hellboy themed game. So we've got our two agents that we decided to play. We're playing Hellboy and Liz Sherman. Hellboy is obviously iconic. He is coming with his pistol. He has the deep pocket starting card. With the requisition points, we have a total of 8, so I've divided it between the two of them. Hellboy has Ancient Blade, which gives him an upgrade to one of his fight tests, Stun Grenade, Lucky Charm, and Liz coming in with her sidearm, and she has the Living Flame. She has armor-piercing ammo, Concussive Grenade, and Lucky Charm as well. So just as a background, I'm not going to go through rule for rule. There are some components that you don't see on the board right now because they're off camera. But for the most part, this is the bulk of what you need to have. You have your tracker, which keeps track of your impending doom, as well as information gathered, holds your case files, as well as your outline for the different minions or different monsters that will appear based on the encounters that you reveal. The encounter has been set up based on the case file, so I'll just read that case file to you right now. Perils of the job, Bprd case file 125414. No one said that being a Bprd field agent would make for an easy life. If you're lucky, you'll spend years chasing dead leads and interviewing crazy folk. And if you're not, you might end up in the path of some ancient, unspeakable horror that wants nothing less than the end of the world as we know it. It's all in job description. Looks like the latter might be the case here. We received a garbled SOS from one of your fellow agents. The weird part is, they're not currently meant to be on assignment, so we don't know whether they're just unlucky enough to be caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, or they've been messing with things they shouldn't have on their days off. Either way, find them, deal with whatever they found, and bring them in for debriefing. This is a challenge rating of medium with a duration of short. Every case file has a different challenge, a different duration. And on the back, we've set up the board with the appropriate types of encounter, but I do not know what they are. I drew them blindly just based on the color code. We've set up our deck of doom, and we've set up the case file. For this one, you have the trigger point A, which happens on the impending doom. If the impending doom marker reaches this trigger, we will be flipping this card. If we enter the confrontation in a successful manner, we will be flipping over this one, and this helps us gain insight to whatever we need in the confrontation to help us. The case file here, we've outlined our rampaging, transforming, venomous, and armed frog monsters as our A, B, C, D type minions. And on the text here we have, you trace the source of the SOS to a stately home that looks like it's been standing for generations. It's miles from anywhere, so it seems unlikely your missing agent was here by accident. A quick call to HQ reveals nothing remarkable about this place, so maybe there's nothing weird going on. Or so maybe there's nothing weird going on. Could be they just got locked in the basement and need a hand getting out, right? Somehow you doubt it. With a sinking feeling in your gut, you check your weapons and head on in. So we're going to start, and we're going to go ahead, and I'm not going to explain every single rule out there. Just know that you can probably find all the rules and explanations online, but I will cover as I go through and as I play through some rule sets as I need to. So we've got our different dice for the tests. Every field agent has a different level. The colors represent the skill level of your tests. And really that's just your luck rules here. So yellow is obviously the worst, up to black, which is the best. So for example, Hellboy has a fight test of red. You also roll the effect die. The effect die has different outcomes, which can either be positive, a wild card, a reroll, or negative, which is the catastrophe, and I'll explain those as we play along. And you would just roll, and you hope that your results are in your favor. So there's a bit of luck. There's a little bit of luck in terms of what the encounter cards you reach. There's luck in your rolls. And in terms of replayability, the very first time you open a case file, they're sealed, by the way. It's a brand new experience. You've never gone through it. You have no idea what's coming. And it actually is quite fun. After you play the case file the first time, you already know who you're going to face at the end. You already know what the confrontation is going to be. But is it going to play out the same? No, because your encounter cards will be different each time. And whether or not you make it successfully through in a positive way will affect your confrontation. If you don't do very well, or if you're not doing things in an efficient manner, you will have a terrible confrontation. But if you do very well, have great rolls, defeating and meeting objectives where you need to, gaining insights, information where you need to, then your confrontation ends up being a lot better or a lot easier. So let's start the game. As a free action, you are able to open the door to explore an unexplored room. So we'll go ahead and do that. It doesn't matter who does it. We'll just say Hellboy does it. So we flip the card over, and we have Minion A, which is Rampaging. We have a clue. We have a Scenery 4, which is a big piece of scenery. And we have another Minion A, which is another Rampaging. Okay, so this is the room, and there's a special condition in this room called Supernatural Gale. Any shoot action that targets the areas in this room or any adjacent room have 3 downgrades. So that really sucks. So that means any area within this room and any area adjacent or any adjacent room have 3 downgrades. So that's not good for us, but we'll take it as it is. So first thing we're doing is we're going to spend an action cube. We have 3 actions per person, and the way that it works for Hellboy is it's not like you're really taking turns. You can simultaneously work together, but you have to resolve actions in a sequence in one at a time. You can't do 2 things at the exact same time. So in this case, Liz is going to spend an action cube to load her armor-piercing bullets, which reduces the resilience of a minion by 2. That's basically their defense value. And right now she sees that she can take a shot at this rampaging monster. So she's going to go ahead and take that shot. So she'll take a shot, and normally her shoot test is 3 reds based on her symbol here. But because of this Supernatural Gale, she suffers 3 downgrades, which actually puts her down to orange. So we're going to hope for the best here. We're going to roll for that shot. Okay, we get ×2, and we get a roll of 4. So we get to ×2 one of the results. So we'll do 4, 5, 6. So that's a total of 6. And because of her armor piercing, she reduces this guy's resilience by 2, and he only had 2. So he takes all 6, and he has a health of 6. So he's right off the board. So that was pretty good. So she has one more action, which she can do, and she will go ahead and she will move in 2 spaces, and she'll stay right there. So next person that we can go is Hellboy. Hellboy's going to move in 2 spaces. Okay. And we are going to do, as my next action, a fight. And I will use Ancient Blade, which is a melee weapon. And normally he is 3 reds. Now, I don't need to downgrade these because the Supernatural Gale only affects shoot actions, and he is not doing a shoot. He is doing a melee. So we get to gain 1 upgrade because of the Ancient Blade, and we're going to go ahead and roll. Okay, so this is pretty good. So we get the Bprd Wildcard. We have 3, 5 in total, but with this Bprd Wildcard and his Ancient Blade, if you roll this, when using this weapon, you double the result of one of the test die in addition to any other outcome. So we're going to go ahead and double this. So we get 6 plus 2. His resilience is 2, so we'll take that out, and he has a health of 6. So we wipe him off the board too. That's actually a pretty good start. So we've cleared this room, and now Hellboy has one more action. So I think he's just gonna, I think we'll just save that as is. We're not gonna do anything, and we will go ahead into the next phase, which is the Doom phase. Now there is a rest phase that's optional. During the rest phase, you're able to do several things, which is clear swarms, frog swarms, investigate clue markers, heal if you need to, and regroup. But for the sake of this gameplay, I don't think I need to. We want to save that. So we're just going to go straight to the deck of Doom. We flip it over, and it says, advance the impending Doom track. So we're going to advance it 1 and discard the card. Okay, and now we move into the end phase. The end phase is where we reclaim our action dice. We resolve any frog or infernos that we have on the board, and we don't. And now we move into the enemy phase. We've got no enemies on the board, so there's no phase for them to do. And now what we'll do is we will go ahead with the agent phase, and Hellboy will do a free action to open this door. And in this room, we have a frog swarm, a venomous monster, a minion A, and another clue. Okay, so we're free to do it. We're free to start. And Liz is in the same area as a clue, so she's going to go ahead and do an investigate. Her investigate test is terrible. So I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and maybe do 1 upgrade. Right? We'll do 1 upgrade. So you can spend 1 action dice to upgrade 1 of your die. So I'll do that. So what we're hoping for right now is a 3 or higher. And we get a 2. So we didn't even successfully investigate that. So that's the end of that. And I could spend 1 more to do 1 more investigation, and I think I will. But I can't upgrade this time, so we're just going to go ahead and do the roll. And again, I get 2. So unfortunately, she could not investigate, and that actually is terrible. So we are left with Hellboy. Hellboy, he will go ahead and move in. And we'll spend 1 action to do a Ancient Blade. So normally we would get this upgrade. But because of the Frog Swarm, we actually lose this upgrade. So we're back to 3 reds. So hopefully we can do something useful. Oh, not bad. So we get ×2. We'll do that. 6 with 2, and that's a resilience. So he's off the board because he had a health of 6 and a resilience of 2. So that's pretty good. So for my last action, I can I think I'm going to try a shoot. So Hellboy has well, you know what? It might not be worth it because it's too risky. Okay, what we'll do instead is we're just going to clear the frog swarm. So the frog swarm is cleared. And that ends it. So we can't rest because we have an enemy on the board. So we're just going to go straight to the Deck of Doom. Advance the impending Doom track. Use target priority to choose an agent, then spawn a minion A in that agent's area. So targeting priority is here. Hellboy is at the front. And the moment you are required to use target priority, he will go to the back of the queue. So we're going to spawn a minion A, which is rampaging right into his area. Okay, at the end phase, we collect our action. We resolve any frog swarms and infernos. We have none. So we start the enemy phase. And in this case, we have 2 rampaging monsters who are going to go in. So we'll get this guy to go first. He's going to do his attack. Hellboy has a defense test of orange. So we can re-roll, and I think what we'll do is we'll re-roll these 2. Okay, that's not too bad. So 4. And his rampaging attack is 5 for his melee, so I take 1 damage. The next rampaging monster is going to move in to attack. And again, normally Hellboy would have his defense test of orange, but because there is another enemy in there, I actually downgrade 1. So that's not looking good. So I get 3. 3 out of the 5, which means I take 2 hits. And that ends the enemy phase. Okay, so now it's our turn. I think Liz should try to investigate one more time. It seems like a waste, but yeah, it's tough. Okay, so let's do the investigation again. So we will go hopefully better this time. Okay, so this is not bad. Times 2, that's 3. So I successfully have investigated clue. So I move my information track up 1. Okay, and Liz will just stay there. Hellboy is going to go ahead and do his Ancient Blade. Now his Ancient Blade would normally be the 2 reds and the black, but because of this additional character, I suffer a downgrade, so I'm actually just all red. So hopefully I can do something useful. I get to re-roll. I will re-roll this empty red, and I still get empty, so this is 5. With a resilience of 2, he takes 3 damage. So this particular rampaging monster still has 3. I'll go ahead and do another attack. And unfortunately, I get the catastrophe. Catastrophe in this situation means that I lose the top value of the die. And that means there's no defense. He has a resilience of 2, so no damage, and I'll do 1 more attack. Oh, God. And I lose the top of the dice, and resilience of 2, so he takes 1. So he's down to 2. So not good. This is not good. Liz is still there, so I think Liz will just move into position. She's going to move right here. Oops. For the next round, because she needs line of sight. And she also has to keep in mind that when she does a shoot test into this room, she downgrades. Okay, so now we go Deck of Doom. Advance the impending Doom track. Use target priority to choose an agent, then place a frog swarm in that agent's area. So target priority puts it in Liz. We put her in the back of the queue, and we put a frog swarm in her area. So that will force her to have a downgrade. Now we move into the end phase. We collect, and as a result, we resolve the frog swarm, which in this case just moves over to an empty spot. If there is 2 or more, you advance the impending Doom track for every 2 frog swarms out there. So now we go into the enemy phase. In this case, they are both attacking Hellboy, so he gets a downgrade. So we'll do this guy first for the attack. Not bad. So we've got a wild card, which we can choose. Now we can either choose to heal him, heal 2 damage, but then, and he would only take 1 damage. So he'd really be down to that. So I don't know what's worth it. I think what we'll do is we'll just do that. We're going to spend 2 to heal, but because of the 4, he takes 1 damage. So we'll just keep 1. So I don't mind that. And then this other Rampaging Monster is going to attack. And I get Catastrophe, so I lose this. And I also suffer testing defense. I lose an action cube. So I lose one of my action cubes. Now, this means I would take 5 damage. I'm going to use my Lucky Charm. Lucky Charm is to flip this card to ignore all the damage inflicted by a single attack or game effect. So I'm going to flip it over. I ignore all the damage because I really don't feel like taking 5 damage right now. Okay, now we're done. So Hellboy's going to try to polish this one off. We are going to do Ancient Blade. We don't get that extra upgrade because the extra character in there. So, oh, this is better. So he has a resilience of 2, which means he takes 5, and this guy is off the board. We'll do one more. And this time I do get the upgrade because it's just the 1 enemy in there. I can re-roll. I think I'll take my chances. I'm going to re-roll the black dice. Ugh, worse. So I take 4. So he gets 2 left. And that's it. Liz is going to take a shot to help him out. So Liz's shot would normally be this. She suffers 3 downgrades because of this. And because Hellboy is in the way, she suffers 1 more downgrade. So that's not looking good, but hopefully all we need is 2. Oh, not bad. So we get what we need, and he is off the board. So Liz is going to go ahead and move in, and she's going to spend her last one to investigate. All we need is 3. Oh, not bad. We get 1, 2, 3, 4. So we successfully investigate this clue, and we move information track up 1. Okay, not too bad. Okay, we could rest, but I'm not going to. So Deck of Doom. Advance the impending Doom track. Spawn a minion A and minion B in the start area. So minion A and a minion B is transforming. So they will spawn here. And that's it. So now we go into the end phase, we reclaim these. Frog Swarm stays where it is. Rampage is going to move in 2. 1, 2. And the transforming is going to see if he transforms. He does not transform, and he stays where he is. Okay, it's our turn. We're going to open the door. Let's take a look and see what's inside. We have a Scenery 2. A Clue. A Frog Swarm. So the second Frog Swarm has appeared. And a Minion B, which is transforming. If the minion that, and there's a special rule for this room, if the minion that is set up in this room is still on the board in the end phase round, you advance the impending doom. So it's very important that we shoot this guy or kill this guy off. Okay. Okay, so we've got a couple things we can take care of. We can either go in, take care of him, or we can just move in and start making some damage here. So we're going to move Liz in to this room, and we're going to do a shoot action on this transforming. She has armor-piercing ammo. He has a resilience of 1, which she ignores, and he has a health of 4, so he's dead. So that's not too bad. And now she has 1 more that she can do, but she's not going to do that. What we'll do is we're going to move Hellboy in, okay? And we're going to have Hellboy investigate. So Hellboy has a much better investigation test. He has orange. If I spend his last action die, I can actually increase it by 2, upgrade it by 2. And then as an assist, because Liz is in the same area, she can spend 1 action die to increase and upgrade his dice. So he will have 3, all reds. So hopefully this gets us more than we need. so not good. So we got 2. We couldn't even investigate that. Oh, that's really bad. Okay, so we are done our phase here. And now we're going into the Doom phase, because we can't rest and we're in a lot of trouble here. Advance the impending Doom track. Look at the top 3 cards of your Doom, and then shuffle them back, placing them on top. So yeah, it's nothing I can really care for. I really don't understand what the point of this is, because I have to shuffle them back in. But at least I know what's coming, and it's not good. Okay, so we're in trouble here, because now we are in the end phase. When we reclaim this, we've got 2 frog swarms. We didn't end up clearing it, so this gets moved up 1 more as well. And that means we're in big trouble here. So we've reclaimed our dice. We are ready to move forward. This is actually really bad. So we're going to do into the enemy phase, and Rampaging is going to move in 2 spots. Transforming, does he transform? He does not transform, he stays where he is. And now it's our turn. So Liz is going to go ahead and just do a shoot action. Let's just try to wipe this guy off the board, okay? Okay, she gets ×2, so he's done. Hellboy wants to do an investigate, and that means he will investigate 2. We just need a good roll here. I get ×2. Oh, why didn't I get this one the first time? So I successfully got more than 6, which actually advances this twice. So 1, 2. When I hit this trigger, for the number of times that I move it, I get insight. So 2 insights I place on this card. Okay. So Liz is going to go ahead and move in here. We are going to clear this frog swarm, and we will do our free action to open this door. And we have a minion C, which is venomous. We have, oh no, we have another frog swarm. We have a bookcase. Let me see, which one was the bookcase here? This one, I believe. We have a bookcase, and on the bookcase, you get 2 clue counters. And we have a minion A. Oh. All right, so Hellboy has 1 action left, and we're in trouble. So this is not good. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend his action to throw out his stun grenade. His stun grenade is going to stun him, so he's down. And that ends it. So we go into the deck of doom. Put this card in play. Each time an agent enters an area that contains a scenery, roll a orange dice. On a score of 2, discard the scenery. The agent takes damage equal to the size, which is 3. Right. Discard this card when the agents take time. So we put this in play. Not good. And now we go into the end phase, in which case it doesn't matter right now, so we're dead. We reclaim, we resolve the frog swarms, which means we advance the impending doom. We have hit the marker, so that triggers this card. If the impending doom marker reaches the trigger marker, skip to the end phase and flip this card at the end of the phase. So we are in the end phase. So at the end of the phase, we flip this card over. The marker was reached. A familiar-looking figure stumbles out of the shadows, collapsing at your feet, just as you hear commotion near the entrance. If a point of interest 3 is not already on the board, place it in the lead agent's area. So the lead agent is Hellboy. Set up 1 minion C, which is a venomous, in the starting area. And set up 1 minion C in the starting area for each agent taking part. So that's 2. So there's 2. Lovely. Then discard this card and resolve the one underneath it. So we discard it. Your missing agent isn't doing too good. Their eyes are wide open, terrified, but they're not moving. It looks like they're in some kind of trance or something worse. Before you can check on them, the room is plunged into darkness. When the lights come back up, you're not alone. Set up Rasputin's ghost in the lead agent's area. Lead agent is here. Set up a minion D in each other minion's area, which is an armed frog monster. Then flip this card. You are now in the confrontation. You discard any case files still on the HQ board without resolving them. And you set up the confrontation as described on page 26 of the rulebook. So we're just going to set that up now, which basically means we discard everything here. All this goes. The deck of doom is gone. All these case files are discarded, I think. Yes, this is a confrontation. So all these get discarded. All these get discarded. And all these get discarded. And we're going to flip the board to begin the confrontation. All right, so the boss for this confrontation is Rasputin's ghost. We construct his behavior deck, which we did already. So Rasputin's ghost is right there. He has a movement of 4. He cannot be killed, and he has a range attack of 10 and a melee attack of 6 with a 6 range. At the roll, this enemy cannot suffer damage. He cannot be hurled or be stunned. Cannot be stunned. Illusions and trickery. While Rasputin's ghost is on the board, agents have an additional downgrade on any test that they make, and they refresh 1 fewer action cube in each refresh stage. When Rasputin's ghost acts, he draws 2 behavior cards, one after the other, resolving the first before drawing the second. If an agent is in the same area as the missing agent, which is point of interest 3, they can spend an action cube to move to an adjacent area, taking the missing agent with them. This case cannot be won by defeating enemies. After all, Rasputin's ghost cannot be defeated. Instead, if the missing agent is moved into the starting area, the case is complete. So, can't kill Rasputin. He's just going to continue hunting us down. All we need to do is get to the starting area where we have the odds stacked against us. So, I can tell you from experience, this is not going to go well. And this is an example where if you're unable to really clear your objectives in a timely fashion and gain enough clues or insight, if you hit the impending doom and it triggers, something bad will happen, and this is bad. So we are now entering the enemy phase, in which case Rasputin is the first one to activate, and he activates with his boss behavior. The boss makes a melee attack that targets each agent in their area. Each target is hurled. So he is targeting Hellboy, and because of Rasputin, I suffer a downgrade, so I'm actually rolling with this. So he's doing a melee attack. I get ×2, so I have 3 out of his 6, which means I take 3, 1, 2, 3, and I get hurled into this room. Okay, and now he does a second behavior. Agent in the boss's area. The boss makes melee attack. He is not in the same area. There's no agents in there. Otherwise, the boss moves towards the nearest area that contains any agents. The exact path is chosen by the lead agent. So I think what we'll try to do is we're going to try to move Rasputin here, and he will attack Liz. Liz has the exact same. She has a defense test of orange with suffering a downgrade because of Rasputin, and actually she suffers 1 more because of the frog monster. And she does terrible. She has a catastrophe, and she's going to use her lucky charm. So we're going to ignore all that damage because that would be 6 right off the bat, and that would be bad for us. So she throws her Lucky Charm, and that's it. So the next thing we do is we're going to activate our Rampaging Monsters. So we have 1 Rampaging, and he's going to move in 2, 1, 2, and he's going to do his attack. So this is really bad on Liz. She suffers 1 downgrade for Rasputin, 1 downgrade for the frog monster. So this is where we are at. I get to re-roll. I get 3. So out of the 5 attack, I take 2. 1, 2. And because I have suffered some damage, I move her Living Flame marker up 1. There are no more Rampaging, so the next one is Transforming, which is this guy up here. And we will roll to see if he transforms. He does transform, yeah, of course, lucky me. And he's transforming into the Rampaging, and he activates 1, 2. The next would be Venomous. Venomous is up here. They're going to move in 2. Okay. And then this Venomous one, he's going to get up. He can't do anything. He just gets up. And then the next person to activate is the Armed Frog Monster, who is going to attack Liz. And again, she has suffered multiple 1, 2 plus the down. Wait, sorry, I think I did this wrong. It should have been 3, right? It should be 3. Suffer 1 for Rasputin. Suffer 1 for that. No, so that was right. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Here we go. Oh, not bad. She gets 5. He attacks with 7, so she takes 2. And that goes up 1. Okay. It's finally our turn. Okay, so... Alright, I think Hellboy's going to move in here. And then we're going to spend an action to bring him out. And we're going to spend 1 more action to bring him over. Okay, we know what's going to happen. And that's just how it's going to be. I think we could stay here, but they would be moving in and then they would be attacking anyways. So there's no win situation here. So Liz is going to use her... I'm going to stoke the flyer. 1 action cube to stoke the fire, and I'm going to increase it by 1 or 2. So I'm going to increase it to 2, so I'm at 3. And then I'm going to spend my 2 action cubes to do Immolate. You're going to put an Inferno in Liz's area. And we are going to also put an Inferno in each adjacent explored area. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll a die, and we add that die's result plus the Living Flame. And every character in her area will suffer that damage. Of course, right? Of course, I get 0. So they all suffer 3, except for Rasputin. So that means they have 3 left. 1, and 3. And then in the adjacent areas, they suffer the damage equal to the score alone. So he also suffers to the score alone, which is nothing. So he doesn't suffer anything. Great, that's a wonderful roll. All right. So now we move into the end phase. There's no such thing as rest. In the end phase, we reclaim our dice. And we can only refresh 2 because of Rasputin. But now we're going to resolve the Inferno. The Inferno is I roll a dice and I apply that result to anyone that's in there. So we'll start with this one. So 2. So because these guys have a resilience of 2, they don't take any damage. We'll resolve this one here. So this one, well, this one burns up that and also puts 1 in here. And I do have to check the rulebook very quickly because I think when that happens, if there's already a fire in there, I don't think that has an effect. Sorry guys, I just have to double check. There are a lot of rules to keep track of, but as of right now, that doesn't do anything. And then we will resolve this one, which has 2. We apply. It doesn't do anything because he has a resilience of 2. Okay. So now Rasputin activates. Rasputin, discard. If the agent is in the boss's area, discard and draw another card. Agent in the boss's area, discard and draw another card. Discard this card, then shuffle the behavior back into the behavior deck, and then draw another card. So we're going to shuffle this back in. So as you can see, while I'm shuffling, the odds are stacked against us. And it's very, 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 very unlikely I'm going to win this one. I would need a whole lot of luck to get out of this. This is why when you're playing in terms of replay value, while I do know I was going to meet Rasputin. I knew he's going to show up. The circumstances in which he shows up is different, and my ability to deal with him is very different. In this situation, I can't do anything to him, but if I had done things differently or more successfully, I would actually have a chance. So we draw another boss behavior card. The boss is in the agent's area, make a melee attack, and she gets hurled. So she has, her normal defense is orange. She suffers 1 because of Rasputin. She suffers 1 because of the Inferno. She suffers another because of this enemy. And she suffers 1 more because of that enemy. So she actually has this. She's done. Here we go. And on top of that, she gets Catastrophe. So we lose this top dice and we lose an action cube. No, wait, we don't lose an action cube. It's Rasputin. So she takes only 1 damage out of his 6, so it's 5. So 1, and now she's injured. 2, 3, 4, 5. So she loses 1 cube, 1 action cube. She suffers downgrades on 2 downgrades on her ranged tests and her investigate test, which doesn't matter right now anyways. So that wasn't good. And Rasputin gets to do 1 more. Agents in the boss's area. Spawn a minion A and a minion B in the boss's area or as close as possible. So you can have a maximum of 6 people in an area. So a minion A is a rampaging and a minion B is a transforming, and they all are sitting in here. That's getting pretty crowded. I think I was at 3. It's getting pretty crowded there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's it. No one else can fit in there. Okay. So now it's our turn. No, wait, it's not our turn. Rasputin went. Now we go rampaging. Rampaging is in here. There's 2 rampaging, and there really is no point because she's done. Her normal defense is this. She suffers a downgrade because of Rasputin, and she suffers a downgrade for every single person in here. So if this one is doing the attack plus the Inferno, so let's do the Inferno first. Okay, she suffers 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So all she gets is the effect die. That's it. And she gets Catastrophe. So she loses her last action cube against him. And she takes the full 5. So she's dead. Or she's knocked out. So we take her out. We put her on the board and we will put a cube in her place. Okay. that was the first Rampaging Monster, which was here. The second Rampaging Monster is right here, and he's going to move in 2. 1, 2. There is one more Rampaging Monster. He's going to move in, and he's going to attack Hellboy. Hellboy normally has all orange, but he gets 1 downgrade because of Rasputin. And, oh, pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So out of his 5 melee attack, I actually staved that one off. Thank goodness. So now we move into the transforming. We have one transforming monster right here. We're going to roll. And of course he transforms. Of course. Now, unfortunately, I'm actually out of Rampaging Monsters. So according to the rule book, you would do the next available one in line. All my venomous ones are being used, so technically it is now an armed frog monster, so he's going to be armed. Okay, well, and he's suffering, and he has 3 damage with him. Okay, so that's not good. And now we activate the venomous. So these 2 venomous guys can shoot at one at a time. So we'll start with number 1. 1 downgrade because of Rasputin. 1 more down. Actually, no. Because there's someone in the way, he actually gets an upgrade. There we go. Venomous number 1. I get 5. And he has a range attack of 5, so we stave that one off. Second one. We get 3. So Hellboy takes 2. So now we have an injury, which is to our range, which is fine. And now the other venomous is going to move in 2. 1, 2. And he's within range. So I get 2 upgrades because I have 1, 2 in the way. So I will get this. Wait, sorry. His normal would be this. He gets 1 upgrade to this and 1 upgrade because of the second character in his way. I get to re-roll. I will re-roll these 2. Oh, beautiful. So I stopped that one. I somehow survive. And that's it. And now the armed frog monster is going to move. He moves in 1, 2. He moves in 2 as well. So these guys have a health of 3. So there you go. It's yeah, I'm just going to take a picture of this because this looks terrible. There we go. That's just for my bookkeepings on how bad this is. Okay, so now it's our turn. Hellboy can do something. What can he do? Really, what can he do? So we don't have a lot of choices here. We're going to use deep pockets. And we get to flip this, and I get to pull from the bottom of the requisition, and hopefully for something useful. I get piercing ammo, which doesn't really... Incendiary ammo? I don't know how to pronounce that. And then we're going to discard this one to pull another. And we hopefully will get, I think, blasting charge, armor piercing ammo. So neither of these are useful to me. But it is what it is. Okay, so I'm not going to shoot. I think... Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to... Oh, gosh. Okay, I'm going to spend 2 to do Big Right Hook. Big Right Hook is a fight action. I suffer 1 downgrade because of Rasputin. And I'm going to aim him this way. Because I'm hoping for some solid damage. Now, if I'm successful, he suffers 3 additional damage, and he is stunned and hurled. If he gets hurled, each one of these guys will suffer the damage of a roll there. So let me just verify that very quickly before I make a mistake. Each character in the area they are hurled into suffers damage equal to suffers damage. So they suffer the damage equal to the roll of an orc. It's not apply, you suffer it. If there's a piece of scenery, it is destroyed and the character suffers. There is no scenery. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Big right hook. All I need to do is get a successful hit. Oh, that's good enough. So he has a resilience of 2. He takes 3 plus 3. That's 6. So he's technically dead, but I get to hurl him. He hurls him in here. And then I roll this dice. I get 1. So this guy takes 1. This guy takes 1. And the rampaging takes 1. So he's down to 5. So, and this one got wiped off the board. Okay. What I forgot to do as well is just to get Liz back on the board. So we're supposed to roll. Sorry. We're supposed to roll this. If I get no blanks, she comes back on. I have a blank, so she stays where she is. So now we're done. We go into the end phase. We're going to reclaim our dice. Liz can't reclaim because she's not on the board. And we're going to resolve the Infernos. We'll start left to right. Okay, so resolving this one. 2. 2, so this one applies 2. None on there. 1 on here. So nobody suffers any damage. So that's what I wasn't hoping for that. Am I doing that right? Let me just quickly check that if I'm resolving this correctly. Oh, they take that much fire damage. So I did it wrong the first time. Okay, that's okay. So let's just do that again. So it was 2 here. He takes 1. So he's 5. He takes 1. So he's at 5. And they take 2. So this actually helps me. So these 2 guys are dead. And 2 here means it's a 3. So I think the odds would have been a bit better for me over here. Because I think they would have suffered 2. So if I recall correctly, they would have suffered 2. So just to benefit of the doubt, they're actually down to 3. Okay. And now Rasputin's turn. Agent in the boss's area? Nope. The boss makes a range attack against a visible area that contains the most agents. The attack hits each agent in the area if there are no visible agents. So he has a range of 6, so he can see. But fortunately, I have 2 people in the way. So in this situation, his defense would be this. I would suffer the downgrade because of Rasputin, but I get 2 upgrades because of they're in the path. So here we go. I get to reroll. I will reroll these 2. Oh, that's not bad. I'll take that. So his range attack is 10, and I got 7. So I take 3, right? So I have 1, 2, 3. Okay, I lose an action cube now. Okay, so that's okay. And now he gets to do 1 more action. If the boss is on the board when this card is drawn, otherwise, if the boss is on the board when this card is drawn, discard the card and draw another. Okay, so discard the card, draw another. Discard this card, then shuffle it back in, and then draw another. So we're going to shuffle that back in. Not looking good. Okay. Last card to draw. If the boss is on the board when this card is drawn, perfect. Remove the boss from the board. If there is no destruction counter in the area, place 1. Excuse me, a destruction counter. So a destruction counter is basically debris or a hole on the board. Any agents that enter it suffer damage, or they have to discard, I think, 2 dice. Any minions that enter it have to stop right away. You put this card into play. While the card is in play, the next time the boss would make an attack, it is placed in the lead agent's area before attacking. So there we go. Now we activate everyone else. So we have Rampaging. We'll start with this one. He moves in. He's doing his attack. Now Rasputin is no longer on the board, so I don't suffer the downgrade. But at this rate, it doesn't look good. So I have Catastrophe. I lose my action cube. I avoid 2 and take 3, and there we go. 1, 2, and 3. So I lost this one miserably. As you can see, the last time I played this, I went through it pretty easily, and I had good rolls. But this one, the odds were stacked up against me. How many guys did I have? I felt like 8 or 9 minions on the board. No chance, even if it's just to try to get this agent who's useless to me into the starting area. So that was the case file. Enjoyable for the most part. I don't like losing, but tough rolls. Liz had really bad rolls, and it was just, odds were just against us. So I like the exploration. I like the unknown of what every room is going to be like. The setup is different in terms of what's in there. There is a high amount of luck in terms of your rolls. You roll well, you can go through it easily. You don't roll well, and it doesn't go well for you. The Deck of Doom, depending on how it's shuffled and the cards you draw, if it ends up not speeding up the impending Doom track too quickly, then it actually plays in your favor. For the boss behavior, it's tough. So there's a lot of variability, which makes replayability very good in this game. And I do enjoy the theme. I enjoy the mechanics, the action cubes, your dice rolls, how you have upgrades. It is difficult to keep track of. I think my first maybe 5 plays of this game, I had a lot of trouble remembering all the different rules for upgrading and downgrading your dice. So there is a bit to keep track of. But once you get the hang of it, there are things that you can print out online for quick reference cards, and that actually helps. And once you remember, it's actually a really fun game. So there you go, guys. Today was my boredom day, and I decided to do Hellboy, the board game, and we lost miserably. Until next time, stay bored.